Okay, so we are celebrating our 2 months since the initiation of this concept of having the Native Dog project. And at the time, we didn't know if it was possible. So the first step was to form an advisory committee that represented the Kennel Club, because we wanted this to keep the integrity of our organization, both as a nonprofit and as an all-volunteer member-run group. And 60 years of this, we didn't want to, scuttle that concept. So from the advisory committee for representing WKC, then we reached out to the agricultural component and brought in another grouping of people as consultants to us. And from that, in reaching out to different entities at the university level that have already started projects that are similar but not the same, I made contact with one person in Virginia Tech, and one in Texas in particular, and then Mike and Jan already had gotten acquainted with Hallie McMullen in Idaho, who was here to give the workshop for scent work, and many of you had a chance to meet her at that timing. Well, that trio of people, Dr. Erica Krubacher in Virginia Tech, and Nathan Hall at Texas Tech, and Hallie are working together to be our mentors and work us through this. And so we just got off of a half-hour call with Hallie on how to strategically manage this. So it will be, our project will run in sync with the projects that they are doing, which are like 4 years in the nebulous beginning work and doing scientific approaches to them, versus ours kind of brailing through. We now have a little bit of structure to what we are doing. So, Mike and Dan?
Tonight, we had been talking with Hallie last week, and our original plan for tonight was we were going to introduce you to just contaminated wood, 1 jar, and clean wood, 1 jar, and we were going to do that 5 or 6 rounds, just to see how the dogs would react. Hallie says we've changed our mind now that she's been talking with the people down at Texas Tech, the doctors down there who are doing the same kind of a program with cotton and other things. So we're going, it sounds like right now we're going big time. So we got a lot of experts in the field that are that we're consulting with, and they are monitoring our program here. So this is really getting to be bigger than I anticipated. But anyway, so right now tonight, what we're going to do, we've changed our mind, she says, so we're going to get, right now we're going to have like 1 jar of what they're used to doing, and we're going to have 2 blank jars. We didn't have the other jars because we weren't planning on it. So we're going to have 1 with a couple, 2 or 3 jars. We're going to go a couple, 2 or 3 runs on it, and then we're going to bring in clean wood and just see how our dogs react. Okay. Now, from now on, you guys are doing monitoring in your journals. We will now start. Hallie's going to get us a spreadsheet with all the different data and stuff on it, so we're going to be doing both. We're going to be doing journaling, doing spreadsheets, in conjunction with the University of Texas, I think it is, or down that way. So that's where we're going tonight. Different than we had anticipated, but it's going to be very, very close. Tonight, Jan and I will both be wearing gloves, so we won't be, I'm going to try, just anyway. So, we're going to...
I wanted to just talk about the spreadsheet for a moment, too, that he's going to provide. It'll become even more important in your journals that you write down how many runs your dog did, how many jars did they find, because at this point on, we're going to be doing more individualization in our training. We won't necessarily be doing the same thing with each dog. That's what the spreadsheet is going to facilitate. It will have a separate page for each dog, and it will automatically randomize based on what they have done and come up with what the next step ought to be. So it's going to be more important for you to keep track in your journals as well. Because of that, the recommendation is that we have somebody available in the room during training that is not running a dog, that is comfortable making entries in the spreadsheet and reading the spreadsheet and telling us what that dog should do next.
It could
So,
be either Jen or I or somebody else.
If you have somebody that would love to come to class with you and enjoys, is comfortable doing spreadsheets, that would be great. Are you pointing at Helen?
Yeah.
But you gotta remember, they're not gonna be here all summer.
Right, right.
They do a little jaunt.
If we have to, then Mike and I will trade off and do it, and you'll just have one instructor and one spreadsheet operator. But I'm just putting it out there that that is something we want to be moving to, because we'll begin individualizing your dog's training.
One more thing. They would like for us to do this more than once a week.
Yes, that's it.
I don't know if each and every one of you can do that more than once a week. We are all busy. We're all instructors other than one or two. Some people are coming from a long distance away. So let's think about that, see what we can do, and let us know.
If you're available or interested in meeting a second or even third time a week, let us know. Let us know what your flexibility is, and we'll put our heads together and see what we come up with. Ideally, well, think of this as not as dog training. Think of it now, we are in a scientific experiment.
National.
Yeah.
At the national level.
That's exciting.
And
So,
the
anyway-
the guy in Texas that's working with his jobs, they meet every day, because it's a laboratory. That's their job. I mean, that's it's students, it's scientific. That is what they do, is pick up a project and run with it. So it's easier for them. But the recommendation would be we meet as often as we can, and it can be per dog. The other part of that is, because it's individualized, we don't necessarily have to have all 6 dogs here for a whole hour. We could bring one dog in, we could run your series of runs, and you could leave. Which means that we're not tied down to 2:30 on Mondays. Again, we can individualize the training, we can individualize your time. For Mike and I, the ideal would be that maybe we start at 2 or 2:15 and run one dog for 15 minutes, and then somebody, he leaves and the next dog comes in, just so we're not driving back and forth to the clubhouse 20 times every day. So I guess the best thing, think about it, let us know what your flexibility is, what you can do, and we'll put together as best we can some kind of a schedule. But we're not tied into 2:30 on Mondays.
Yes.
Just a comment, I was hoping you could put your spreadsheet up in Google Sheets or something.
I'm not sure about
We
that.
don't even know what we're going to get yet.
I don't even know what it's going to be.
Okay, but if it wasn't tied to one computer, that would be nice.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
What you're saying is be one spreadsheet, but it could be shared between computers. So
Right, well,
they
if
wouldn't have
it-
to use our computer to use it, to run it.
But if the data was up in the cloud somewhere, it wouldn't matter if you were here with your computer.
Yeah, okay. Somebody could
Just-
access
I
it.
see what you're saying.
Anybody
I'm
with a
not sure
computer.
they'll want us to do that yet.
Well,
This
that's
is
something
all
we'll keep in
new
mind.
within the last half hour.
Yeah, we're still,
Good.
Okay? So, based on that, let's have some fun, okay?
That's it, that.
Ah, yes, that's the one. Girl.
Yes. No, I want you over here to my left more. Come a little more laterally. Charlie.
Oh, good job.
Well, she got a treat. Somebody dropped a treat there. Yeah, good girl. Yay, good girl. Here. Good girl. Yeah.
Good. Good boy.
He's always watching. Right through it. Yeah, good boy. Yeah, good boy. Come on.
The good boy.
Remember, you should be which direction you came in and how quickly the dog found it from that direction. Which is where a spreadsheet will help us to keep track of that. Yes, good girl. Yay, that was good.
Jerry.
Yeah, good boy. Cherry. Reinforcing to the dog the odor we want. It's the same they've been doing, but we're going to be adding a step soon. And so our first step before we add something is to just really solidify in their mind exactly what odor they're after. As each dog has about 90% accuracy, they'll be moving on, but not every dog will at the same time. Cheers. Cherry. Cherry. Yeah, that's a boy. Yeah, that's a boy. Come here, darling. That's good.
Good, Cherry. That's very nice.
That's good girl. Yes. Cherry. Yes, good girl. Yeah, that's nice. Good girl. Okay.
Jerry.
Yeah. Cherry. We are now introducing a jar with twigs that are not contaminated. Your dog doesn't know what we want him to do. Your dog has no idea that there is a difference between the two. So this first run, you want to be ready to treat quickly when they get to the right one, to the contaminated one, and which is the first one. And then walk them on to the second one, let them smell it, and don't treat. It's going to take a number of times, but we want them to begin to try and figure out why they get treated at one and not the other. So to begin with, come in directly this side, up this direction, so we get the contaminated one first that they're accustomed to. But make sure they walk past the second one They can sniff it all they want, but you don't treat, you ignore it. You have no interest in that second jar whatsoever. Yeah,
Good job. Good job.
she kept an even pace. She walked right by and just totally looked the other way and ignored it, and Otter caught on pretty quickly. And we do have plans to get beyond jars that roll around on the floor. Yeah, that's a man. That's a man. Good boy. Yeah, good boy. Yes, good girl. Very good. And just a reminder, this is not find more. This is not simple. Cheers. Yes, good girl. Excellent. All right, the leash handling on that. You just pull her off and she kept going. I like that.
That's good, Alicia.
Yeah, they don't know the game now.
No, I have no clue what you're trying to tell us.
No. This is going to take time.
Good girl.
Carrot.
Perfect.
You want to go for it.
Yeah. Like right now tonight, we're going to do this 3 or 4 times. The last time we do it, we may go a little slower just to see the reaction. Good job.
Don't you wish you could read the dog's brain and know if they really sense Just cheers. Yeah, that's a boy. Cherry. That's the tree. Yes, good girl. Yay, good girl. The dogs don't know yet. Cherry.
I want you to bring your dog in from the opposite direction.
In the tall jar.
Yes.
Good. Yes. That's perfect. Let them get a little bit extra smell and they're good.
don't want them to think it's always the first jar. Yes. Yes.
Nose on it. Keep his nose on it. Good.
Yes, that's it. Where is it?
Keep your nose on that. We're gonna get some ORT boxes, drill holes in them, and then put the jars in there so they don't roll all around the place.
But we always talk about the matter source. The longer he keeps his nose there on the diseased wood, the greater the chance his brain has to process there's something here. Yeah!
Oh,
Yay!
that could have been an indication there.
Girl, yeah! Yeah, good boy. The first one. Oh, but it's the second one. Yeah.
That's the dog running into the alert course. Jars upside down.
It's empty. Yeah.
Oh,
So the upside down or is
nothing.
There's nothing in it.
just something else?
No.
It's just a third jar out there. That was the first one.
Ooh.
Yes, that's a good girl. Yay, that's a good girl. Okay.
Yes.
I notice you're all doing a good job of keeping a consistent pace past the diseased one rather than cueing your dog that, oh, I'm going to slow down because you outstopped here. Doing a good job of keeping a consistent pace. I like that. Sherry. Yes. Yes. Yes.
Okay, you've all had a hard weekend, so we're gonna have you come from this side one last time, and we're done. Okay? He wasn't doing that. Good.
Walk past the others, Tara, walk past the others. So we know we gotta keep walking, yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
Help them know that that's
Yeah,
right.
good job.
Sure. Yes, good girl.
Promise.
And again, these dogs are tired.
Yeah.
Yeah, good boy.
Yeah.
But they are quick and short and specific. Yeah.
Yes. There you go. Good job. All right. But I think they were getting a little bit of a clue there. It showed a couple dogs were actually staying right on the scent, and they were just ignored the other one. So a couple of dogs actually just looked at it, smelled it, and went on. So that was giving us an indication that maybe they are getting it. We will do this sort of thing more, but we're going to take the jars and we're going to put them in boxes, okay, so that they won't be knocked over and so forth and everything else. And then we're going to start redoing individualized stuff. So think about how often maybe you could come. It's a commitment on your part,
And on that
our part.
On that part, anticipating a question, we do need to come to the club for your practice sessions.
Yes.
I don't care how close you live to me. Because we need to have that consistency of all our data is being derived from the same location.
I have articles to give to each of you. This will explain what's going on at the national level, and you'll better see how we fit into this.
Okay.
Thank you, Linda.
All right. Anyway, thank you, everybody. Appreciate your time and effort.
In the office.